So ladies and gentlemen, so if you're joining me here, kindly like the video. So I've just gotten this video from a channel somewhere online, and I thought that it was wise if I can talk about this video. So let's have a look at what is happening in Burkina Faso. Then when we come back, we can analyze this video. And there are good things happening in Burkina Faso. Let's just watch this. When we come back, we can analyze this video further.
The Ouaga-Bobo highway continues to gain momentum. The work is progressing at a rapid pace. After clearing the right-of-way, Faso-Mebo is continuing the project at the same pace. From Sakwinse to Tita, the stripping is complete and a new phase is beginning. Let's take a closer look with Salif Belem and Alice Hungrana.
Day by day, the Ouaga-Bobo highway is gradually taking shape. The work is progressing at a steady pace. From Imdi to Tita, passing through Kokologo, the atmosphere is filled with the sounds of graders, compactors, and loaders, among others. On this stretch, the clearing work for the right-of-way is finished. At the moment, the workers are busy laying down the first layer of the roadway.
After the initial cleaning phase, we simultaneously began clearing the first two sections from Imdi to Tita. It should be noted that we have now completed this clearing phase for the first two sections. And currently, the main activities underway are staking out, followed by leveling and supplying materials for the roadway.
Supplying earth, spreading, and compacting. This is the daily routine for the Faso-Mebo teams working on the Ouaga-Bobo highway. Already, the phase of laying down the first layer of the roadway extends over more than 100 kilometers.
I can say that things are progressing very well because across the two sections we have several teams deployed. So currently we are on the Kokologo site, and after Kokologo we have two teams deployed in the Sakwese area and another in Sabu. And finally in Tita we also have another team. So it should be said that all these teams are really working tirelessly so that we can finish on time.
The different teams are in the same dynamic. They are all driven by the same spirit to efficiently ensure the progress of the work. For the logistics teams, the rainy season is hardly an obstacle. The machines must run at full capacity.
Our goal is really to make sure that the work itself never stops, keep the machines in good condition so that regardless of production demands, the equipment can operate at full capacity. For example, during the rainy season, you have to make sure the machines are greased at all times. Since the road surface gets slippery, it often leads to a lot of flat tires.
At this borrow site in Kokologo, Sylvester Nassa's team is responsible for supplying earth to the construction area. But before that, there's a whole set of engineering work that takes place.
At the borrow site, we first loosen the material and mix it using our tankers, then pile it up. After piling up the material, we proceed to identify the materials in the laboratory in order to distinguish between the different qualities of the material.
So that is what is happening in Burkina Faso, and we just have to congratulate President Traoré for that massive development in Burkina Faso. So if you're joining me here, I am just here in Africa. Just have a look at how Africa looks like. We have kids from the other side, they're playing football. So look, Traoré has done massive developments in Burkina Faso. A lot of development in Burkina Faso. In fact, he is one of the presidents who are celebrated and known by nearly all African youth. Why? Because of the things that he's doing in Burkina Faso. Permit me to say this. A resident in Burkina Faso said that for the past 4 years that Traoré has been in power, so she has seen development as compared to 30 years of existence that she has been in Burkina Faso. So that basically means that this is a president who means business. He means business. You can imagine achieving nearly 300 kilometers of 8-lane, if I'm not wrong, I think it's 8-lane highway, 8 or 12-lane highway. And one of the facts that is important here to note is that the 8-lane highway, the Ouaga-Bobo highway, if I'm not wrong, the whole project is funded by the government initiative, by internal sources, by government and the initiative that they are created within the Burkina Faso environment. So that means that nearly 90% of this money that they are using for development of this road is internally funded by the government through the natural resources. Of course, if the government sells the natural resources, they get funds to fund this project. At the same time, we have an initiative called the Faso Mebo Initiative. So if you don't know what Faso Mebo Initiative is, this is just a government kitty where nearly Africans of goodwill who are within Africa and those ones who are not in Africa, they can contribute to this kitty. The money that is contributed to this kitty is purely intended to fund infrastructure projects. Can you even imagine that? While most African governments, they are borrowing money for the purpose of funding some projects which are not even funding the projects. The money that is being borrowed mostly is looted. Traoré and his government, they have created an initiative by the name Faso Mebo, where people can contribute to this initiative, where the government itself can contribute to this initiative. They come up with the cash, and the cash that they come up with can be used to facilitate infrastructure projects within Burkina Faso. So 90% of the money that is constructing this highway is internally funded. That is how amazing Traoré is. And you've seen it in televisions, that citizens of Burkina Faso, they can camp the whole night outside the presidential palace for the purpose of protecting the president. Why? Because the president is doing what the people want. They are seeing changes within their country. So that is the spirit of Pan-Africanism. And it's incumbent of other leaders to follow, at least to emulate what President Traoré is doing. Yeah, it is as simple as that. Even though people normally say that Traoré is not democratically elected, but he's doing what people want. If indeed democracy cannot deliver to people, then we have this extraordinary exchange of power, the likes of what Traoré did, so that to serve the citizens of Burkina Faso. So we have to pray for Burkina Faso. We have to pray for President Traoré, because he is setting a good example for African leaders and other African leaders who are yet to be born. I can match President Traoré with the former president of Tanzania by the name, the late President John Pombe Magufuli. So these are the people who love their country. These are the people who are delivering for the purpose of African development and to foresee and to catapult their country's economy to another level. So ladies and gentlemen, Africa will be great. We are trying to see that. Go to Burkina Faso, Africa is rising. Go to Botswana, Africa is rising. Okay? Go to the southern part of Africa, Africa is rising. The spirit of Pan-African is alive and well. And it's incumbent of us, we as the coming generation, to speak positivity. To speak positivity when it comes to Pan-Africanism. To congratulate the leaders who are spearheading the Pan-African movement. So thank you for showing up. See you next time. Like this video. Bye bye for now.